Hello, my name is Adam Sklute, and I'm the Artistic Director of Ballet West. Welcome to Willem Christensen's production of The Nutcracker. Willem Christensen, Ballet West's founder, has been called the godfather of American dance, and it really is because he founded the very first full ballet company in America. Born and raised with his brothers in Brigham City, Utah, they and their wives started a vaudeville act where they toured the United States bringing dance to America. In the late 1930s, he founded the San Francisco Ballet, and in 1944, he created the very first full production of The Nutcracker in America. Prior to that, America had only seen touring European companies or a version, The Nutcracker Suite, but the full version had not been created until Mr. C created it for the San Francisco Ballet. In the early 1950s, Christensen moved back to Utah, where he founded the first fully accredited dance program, ballet program in the world, the Ballet Department of the University of Utah. And out of that was born the Utah Civic Ballet. One of the first works he brought to the Utah Civic Ballet, his production of The Nutcracker, which started to be performed in Utah in the early 1950s. And when the Utah Civic Ballet turned into Ballet West in the mid-1960s, he continued with his production of The Nutcracker. To date, Willem Christensen's Nutcracker is now the longest running production of The Nutcracker in America and possibly the world. It has had a solid, unbroken run since the early 1950s until now. Now, we at Ballet West were not going to accept an unbroken run, so we are thrilled that we are going to be able to partner with KSL Television to bring our community and the world Mr. C's Nutcracker for free on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. This is our gift to our community and our way of continuing the wonderful Nutcracker tradition during this time when our theater sadly must remain dark. Mr. C's version of the Nutcracker is based on so much information that he got about the European productions, the original Petipa production. He learned much of this information from none other than the great George Balanchine and Alexandra Danilova. As legend would have it, they were working with the Ballet Russe, a flamboyant European touring company that was touring the United States, and they toured to San Francisco. He was friendly with them. Mr. C had studied under George Balanchine. And so one long evening, he grilled them about all the information they knew about Petipa's original, The Nutcracker. In fact, at one point, it was said Danilova, always very elegantly dressed, kicked off her heels and started doing the steps right there in Mr. C's living room. Well, Balanchine said, no, Shura, her nickname, no, Shura, he must learn himself. And learn he did. He learned every little detail about these original productions. He studied it and he brought it all together with his own unique and wonderful sense of theatricality that was born out of American vaudeville. Mr. C is a theater man through and through, and his Nutcracker shows every aspect of that. It is delightful, it is funny, it is detail-oriented. Multitudes of children occupy the stage. Mr. C was very savvy, and he knew that lots of children had lots of families, and so there he brought an audience with them. He loved working with children, and he created really interesting and unique roles for them, from Clara to Fritz, and even later on, the role of the nephew, specially created for our long-term archivist and ballet master, Bruce Caldwell, when he was just a child. One of the things I love the most about Mr. C's Nutcracker is the quick pace that it moves. He really understood the rhythm of America and how America moves quickly. So from the party scene into the battle scene, it is engaging and bright. It is never too complicated or deep intellectually, but always very stimulating for anyone, whether you are a well-seasoned aficionado of dance or brand new to the art form. His snow scene, to me, embodies actually the beauty of Utah, where we come from. It's grand, it's big, it shows off the wonderful snowscape that is so much a part of our own landscape. And his Act 2, to me, runs just like a vaudeville show, from one quick act into another. In fact, the Russian dance in Mr. C's Nutcracker is part of a vaudeville act that he and his brothers actually brought when they danced the vaudeville circuit. So he incorporated that all into his Nutcracker. Mr. C changed his Nutcracker a number of times, and in fact, he changed the sets and costumes 4 times in his lifetime. When I arrived, our beautiful production was already about 25 years old. That was in 2007. 10 years later, we realized it was necessary to change and modify the sets and costumes. So, through the generous support of the George S. and Dolores Story Echoes Foundation and many other wonderful, wonderful people, we were able to create all new sets and costumes for Mr. C's Nutcracker. Sets and costumes that still maintained the integrity of his production, but brought it into perhaps the 21st century in new and fanciful and charming ways. "2020 has been a challenging year for the entire world, and arts organizations have been hit hard. Ballet West is no exception to these challenges. We've had to cancel a number of our performances. We were blessed to be able to move forward with a small repertory evening in the fall of 2020. 20% occupancy in the theater, everyone socially distanced, everyone in masks. We took great precautions for the safety of our audience, for our artists, and for our crew alike. And it went off really, really well. This was simply not an option with a production as big and extensive as the Nutcracker. So we will not be able to present the Nutcracker live for our audiences this year. How grateful we are, though, that we have a wonderful filmed production that we did in partnership with BYU TV last year in 2019 for the 75th anniversary of Willem Christensen's The Nutcracker. Now, through the generosity of KSL and so many wonderful, wonderful people, we are thrilled to be able to offer you Willem Christensen's Nutcracker, America's first full-length Nutcracker, on television, commercial-free, and free for all of you. Happy holidays from all of us at Ballet West, and thank you so much. We will see you on the stage very soon.